welcome back to Women in APIs Season 3. I'm joined today with Akshata and Zoe, and we are going to have another wonderful conversation. So let's get into it. Can I have you both introduce yourselves and tell the audience a little bit about you?
Myself, Akshata Sawant. I'm currently based in London. I'm working as a developer advocate at Salesforce. I've been in the part of MuleSoft and Salesforce community for almost 5+ years.
Hi, my name's Zoe Laycock, and I am head of product marketing. I have had a relatively long and diverse career in tech, and I generally, over the last few years, have been focused on marketing the value of various developer products to developers.
What do both of your organizations do to attract and retain diverse talent?
So at Salesforce, you can say diversity and equality, they have been quite, fundamental or core pillars to make you feel home, to make you feel welcome, and you should be heard. So that's very important.
To actually talk about what the company is about and what the core values are. And I think that those, that is something that candidates are looking for. But I think one of the main areas that is overlooked is once you've actually recruited people, it's also about fostering a culture of equity, inclusion. It's not just about equality and inclusion, but it's actually about fostering a culture where people can feel like they belong to something, because it should never be left to women to try and change this. It should never be left to people of color to try and change diversity.
What are some things that really help when it comes to deciding what you want to do next or where you land next?
So I can say I recently made a move. I switched as a developer advocate. So what actually helped is having a good network, because that's where the real opportunities flow in. Your network plays an important role with whom you're connecting with, your basically your allies as well.
Yeah, I echo that completely. So I think, your network, community groups is so important to actually find people like yourself, both personally, but also in terms of specialty. It's really useful to meet people from other companies. There's nothing better than actually speaking to someone that actually works for a company that are genuinely feeling like they have a strong sense of belonging, they're included, they have a voice, and that they're respected, and that they're really enjoying what they're doing. Too many companies do this kind of tick box diversity, talk the talk, but don't actually really address really what we need to drive, which is male dominated cultural change.
So, for the next generation of women in tech, what are you both doing as individuals to help kind of pave that path and lend a helping hand up?
As far as I do, I have dedicated slot, 2 slots per week, wherein it's going to be a free conversation. So I call it as muley hours, and we have a friendly conversation. Like if there is something, or someone who wants to start their journey as a woman in tech, or as a software developer, basically anything. So it's just a friendly conversation. I provide all the resources I have as a help, and that really helps.
Yeah, I mean, little things are underestimated, but they're the things that you can do on a daily basis. I mean, from my perspective, for both of us, actually, I think just showing up and being visible is so important. One of the things is actually to increase awareness amongst young women and girls about the opportunities in the tech space. As an industry, we are not really highlighting the potential of the diversity of careers that there are within tech. And it's not all as a developer. You could be a data science, you could be a data analyst. There are so many ancillary and supporting careers. You could be a UX designer. There's so many things, so many aspects of participating in cool tech products and services. And I think that still isn't clear to young people.
What do you think tech leaders get right or wrong today? And you can answer that either way that you choose.
I think tech leaders focus on recruitment. I think they focus on a couple of indices, but really often fail to address male dominated leadership, male dominated culture.
They have been doing good, but yeah, as Zoe said, they should be like focusing more on the equality and like giving equal opportunities for all. This is the current situation and the global crisis, I can say, like current thing. The layoff culture is something which I think all the tech leaders should take into consideration. That is not something which is like, why don't you employ the current employees in some different role rather than just firing them off before hiring or before hiring the new employees. Make sure that you have like enough capacity to handle those roles.
That is such a good point, actually, that I hadn't quite thought about in the moment. I think there are some systemic leadership issues that certainly have resulted in this kind of layoff culture. I think that we are seeing at the moment the results of overconfidence about growth prospects during the pandemic. I've seen this firsthand at leadership, which is overconfidence, overly aggressive growth. And then when things change, as they have been very changeable over the last couple of years, people are just seen as expendable. Certainly, whoever's fault it is, I think it can only be improved by having a more diverse approach to leadership with different perspectives.
What is one tip that you have for others on how to improve developer experience?
One of the things that managers and people in tech leadership can do to improve developers' experience is to actually focus on it. So during the software development lifecycle, noting that developers is not a one-size-fits-all sort of description for a start. There's a diversity and a huge range of different types of skills, talent, and experience. Think about developer experience. Think about the micro workflows that developers actually have to do. And sometimes there's a little bit too much of a focus on we're going to drive productivity and, at that macro level, but actually talk to developers, understand what they do and how they do it.
I completely agree with that. We need to take into consideration like the different developer personas, like as Zoe said.
So, what do both of you think is a trend that we'll see this year? Maybe something more on the positive side for APIs. Like, is there something else you're keeping an eye on that maybe folks can be more excited about in the coming months?
I think currently there's like a buzz of Chat GPT. So it's, I mean, it's everywhere. You are like, for me, I'm tired of the content as well. So it's really a useful tool, and that's buzzing around. But yeah, guys, there are other tools as well we should be focusing on.
Yeah, I would echo that. I mean, it's a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? Because we're all techies and geeks, and we're all excited about bleeding edge technology and technology trends. So, and then we get sick of them. So, certainly the current buzz around Chat GPT, and if we zoom out about that, I mean, it's very. I commend.
Yeah, it's actually like a song that we keep on like singing until we don't get tired of it. I mean, we don't get sick of it. Like, just get out of my brain now.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess, but commend the teams behind that for eating up about 98% of the share of voice when it comes to AI. But actually, if we zoom out, really, the buzz and the potential is about the use of AI, how it will both enhance, possibly disrupt our industry in terms of software development. There is the potential for AI to actually do some of the big data crunching, just do some of the tasks, operational tasks that human beings are not actually very good at doing or just literally cannot do at all. And also repetitive tasks that we can do but are not necessarily the best use of our time. So I'm a little bit more optimistic about AI. Thinking about APIs themselves, companies are really, really coming round to the potential of APIs. They are dominating the way that we actually produce software now. no starting from scratch and writing single lines of code.
What is one thing that you have thought more about or have learned after listening to each other and hearing kind of a new perspective?
I think from Zoe, I've learned more about inclusivity and like diversion. There's so many things we actually keep on learning from this conversation, particularly like the her thoughts on product management and how she has been like her perspective. That was like something new. Yeah, it's been nice meeting you. It was a nice
Absolutely, and I would
conversation.
love to connect and continue this actually. There may
Yeah,
well be some opportunities of things that we can do together. I think what I've
absolutely.
learned from Akshata is a different perspective, but also is that I've learned that we've still got quite a lot of work to do. It seems like some of the experiences that she's hit in her career are the same as mine. I'm older, so I'm not happy to hear that. You've inspired me really to dig out and make sure that I am aware of the ever growing number of communities that are out there on Slack or other platforms, at LinkedIn included, that I can dive into, and I'm sure that I can be more present on a daily basis. Us women, we need to champion each other a lot
True. That
more
is the need of the
than we
hour.
do. It is tiring. It is tiring. And sometimes it's a little bit disappointing that change doesn't come as quickly as we would like it to. That said, I'm actually relatively proud of the tech industry.
I really appreciate both of you joining us today. You can find them on LinkedIn, and those LinkedIns will be in the video description below. Otherwise, happy Women's Month and have a wonderful day. We'll catch you on the next episode of Women in APIs.